Nintendo just released Mario Kart World Update version 1.2.0. What we're discussing from this update specifically are the changes to time trials, which led to every world record being dismantled in the first 2 days after the update. Before the big stuff, I think many of us were amused by this particular update here. You can now choose View Replay after downloading ghost data in time trials. I laugh at this because while yes, this is a nice feature, they still do not address critical areas for changes with the game mode itself. I made a video about the time trial game mode in Mario Kart World after the game came out. Most crucially highlighted was the fact that after you complete your time trial, you do not see your lap splits. There's no way to know how fast you went on lap 3 without watching the replay and doing manual math for the splits. There are other missing elements that are core features of the game mode in previous Mario Kart games discussed in that video. Nintendo clearly showed that they do have some degree of attention for the game mode if they go out of their way to add a View Replay button after downloading ghost data. It still puzzles me why they haven't addressed core features for the game mode. Classic Nintendo. Now to the big stuff. Nicely tucked away at the very bottom of the list for this update reads the following. Several other issues have been addressed to improve the gameplay experience. The vagueness is also unsurprising with this. Players quickly found these changes most notably were everything to do with landings from ramps, gliders, charge jumps, and so on. Now when you land, it seems that your boost gets you to max speed instantly. What will come afterward is not surprising. In the first 2 days, every world record was beaten. And we aren't talking about 50 or 100 milliseconds. Some tracks had easily over half a second to nearly 1 second taken off right away. We see the more significant impact coming from tracks that have more trick or boost landings. As of my recording on the day of making this video, 2 of the biggest cuts have been on DK Spaceport and Sky High Sunday, which have had over 1 full second of improvement for each track. Naturally, I had to give this a try myself. So yesterday, I started playing Crown City, which is one of my best tracks. I was previously 6th worldwide with a 207.894 before this update came out. I got booted off of worldwide tops afterward with the update. I did an hour session, and in that hour, I improved my time by almost 900 milliseconds and landed 4th worldwide. I quickly saw the cumulative effect on this course in particular, as Crown City has the most charge jumps compared to any other track, and is riddled with many trick and boost landings. I raced Kai's old 207.244 world record ghost and pulled very strong paces almost instantly. You might be wondering how it actually feels to play with this update. My initial impressions in the game is this. For the casual audience, you likely won't notice this change in your regular worldwide races. But if you are a speedrunner of the game and practice all the strategies to a high level for online play, it is a noticeable difference to adjust your playstyle. We kind of take for granted all the very small timings for various things after playing a new game for nearly the first 2 months after release. I was used to a slight delay of the boost coming out of the charge jump here on Crown City before the double main turbo going into the alleyway. I had to slightly adjust how I approached the mini turbos here after the update, and again the visual difference is clear racing a ghost from before the update. I then saw the biggest changes entering the long straightaway, doing the car bounce, multiple charge jumps, and the railing tricks. It went up another level when landing from all the tricks and charge jumps done on lap 2, where I notably was gaining more time over Kai's ghost in most of my attempts as well. This made getting this orange main turbo out in particular on this section a bit more difficult compared to what I was used to. But I was able to adapt in the end. It was still so amusing when I would have some slower paces in my session, and I'd gain chunks and chunks of time next to his ghost after every landing. Kai's world record himself at the time of the update was a 206.897, and now he has a 206.193. cutting over 700 milliseconds himself from his former record. I think this track, just like DK Spaceport and Sky High Sunday, are more of the biggest examples of having large improvements due to just how many landings from tricks and boosts that they have. I then tried another track, Toad's Factory. I raced the world record just before the update, being F's 152.103 for my experiment. My previous time was a 153.335 before the update, and I was close to 600 or 700 milliseconds off of re-entering worldwide tops. Well, within only 30 minutes, I improved to a 152.976, then to a 152.681, and lastly a 152.347, getting me back to 10th worldwide and cutting almost exactly 1 full second. How ridiculous is this? The difference in the trick landings racing F's former world record goes was so jarring. This change really affected how I do the first curve into the factory and the conveyor turn specifically. Having seemingly full speed right away when landing was very noticeable for these tricky turns and somehow made this work in the end. I also noticed landing from the factory exit into the mushroom shortcut and landing from the last trick ramp also had positive results. My middle section on laps 2 and 3 felt a bit more exaggerated with the boost gains as you do a charge jump landing onto the rail ride strategy on laps 2 and 3, followed by more trick sequences before entering the factory again. I am really interested to see how other tracks are transformed with this update, whether it allows new pace locks to be beaten or potentially new strategies being possible due to having full speed when landing from tricks and boosts. And I'm not the only one either. If you look at every single worldwide top 10 currently, every track is completely changed. As a competitive time trial player for the game and other Mario Kart games, I have a few thoughts. I am glad this type of update comes within the first 2 months of the game's release and not 2 years or longer than that. Mario Kart 8 had the infamous stat balances changed in the Booster Course Pass Wave 5 in July of 2023, and after that the world records in that game were completely changed for tracks. Very long-standing and optimized records were obsoleted due to that update. I hope this game doesn't fall to the same story of having another pivotal update to game mechanics years down the line and completely destroying the world record scene in the process. My other thought primarily is that I do wish Nintendo could be more specific with their audience that buys their product and chooses to play their games. Several other issues have been addressed to improve the gameplay experience. I feel like the people that choose to play their games at least deserve to know why certain changes are made and specify what they are, instead of a catch-all statement nestled at the very bottom of a lengthy changelog. I really do wonder what other potential updates Nintendo are going to push out for the game, especially updates that affect the highest level of gameplay for Mario Kart World speedrunning. Whether you are a speedrunner, high-level online racer, or a casual player, what are your takes for this change? What would you want to see Nintendo update and change about the game? I'd love to see what you all are thinking in the comments. More videos covering the time trial scene in the future are coming to this channel, so be sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the future uploads. Thank you all for the support, and good luck for your own time trials after this newest update.